I know I'm being deceitful in my thumbnail. You're gonna think, oh wow, she reads so many physical copies. No, I just grabbed some random books off my bookshelf because I couldn't just like do me and like my Kindle in one book for the thumbnail. Like, be real. The last time I did like an all-encompassing blog post of like what I've read for the month or something like that was when I read Onyx Storm, because it literally took me a month to read. I'm gonna recap the 17 books I read this summer. Really, it's from April to now. And I am gonna have to use my phone with my Goodreads because it's like the only way I can keep track of what I'm reading. In April, I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and you're gonna see this is a theme. I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood and I was like, I need more of this, and just read like so many of her books. We have like a 4-person co-ed book club between me and my friends. It's like me and my husband and like our married couple friends, and we like take turns selecting books, and like we select books of like things that we like to read. Now, I like to read a lot of romance. I read some fantasy romance. I do like thrillers. I like some nonfiction. Like, I like a bunch of different things, but the thing I tend to go to the most is romance. So everyone else is picking out like literary novels, thrillers, action novels, and I'm like, I'm gonna make y'all read some smut. I had never read Bride before, but I made everyone read Bride, and actually everyone kind of enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I could not get over the fact that her name was Misery. Couldn't get over that. And I'm not really crazy about, I can't think of the word, like a realistic-y kind of fantasy where they have elements of the real world, like technology, because I just have a hard time like associating like, okay, wait, so it's like our world, but like also there are these werewolf clans, but I know that's just like a personal thing. I still really enjoy it though. The next book I read was Abigail and Alexa Save the Wedding by Lian Dolan. I actually did a whole like interview with Lian, and it's on my YouTube channel if you want to go back and watch it. I really enjoyed this one. I also gave this one 4 stars on Goodreads. I think this would especially be good for like a book club if you are like a woman whose kids are maybe getting married, or actually like even if you're younger and getting married. I feel like this would be funny to read because it's from mother of the bride, mother of the groom perspective, and like I think like it's like a different way of looking at things. It's just kind of funny. It's not a romance. We're focused on like friendships and relationships, very character driven. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. It's like 2 different POVs. The next one is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Now everyone was talking about this one on TikTok and I was like, yeah, because it sounded really smutty. Now I did give this one 3 stars on Goodreads. It was good and it's very smutty. You've read a lot of Ali Hazelwood. This isn't like her usual like STEM romance kind of stuff, although neither is Bride. It's about like 2 competitive college swimmers. I did read it pretty fast, but it is very smutty and I don't know, it's fine, but it's just not my favorite of hers. The next one I read is called Small Things Like These by Clare Keegan. This one is a really short one. It is 70 pages. So if you're looking to knock some things off of your read list, like just read a short novella. Truthfully, I'm having a hard time remembering what this one was even about. Oh, this one is about these like homes that they had in, I think, Ireland. They're like women who were unwed, like they would go to live there and like they would have their children taken from them. And I think they were run by the church, and like the women there were just like not treated well by nuns and stuff like that. So it wasn't a true story, I don't believe, but it was based off of real events. It's a really short story, but it did hold my attention and I thought it was really interesting, and I learned about something that I had not known about. If you're looking for a short story, you want it to be interesting, but also like something kind of like with history, like I think this is a good one. I did give this one 4 stars. Next one I read was Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I gave this one 3 stars on Goodreads. This is the 3rd book in the Powerless trilogy. If you've ever read Powerless, it was really popular on TikTok, and I actually really enjoyed the first Powerless book. I know a lot of people compare it to some other books. I still really enjoyed it. This one I was not crazy about. I didn't like the ending. I thought it was kind of strange, and I don't know, it just kind of was like losing some of the magic for me that I really felt in like the first one. I think I just didn't really like the way things panned out. Like it just kind of bummed me out. So I don't know. The next one I read was The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I hope I'm not butchering that name. I gave this one 5 stars on Goodreads. This one was so good. This one is so funny. I really, really enjoyed this one. I would check like maybe the trigger warnings for this one if you know, before you read it, because the whole idea of the book is that the main character, she is going to this hotel and she's going through a divorce and she decides she's going to end her life. She runs into this bride who thinks she's rented out the entire hotel, but Phoebe is the only non-guest of this wedding. She kind of like just gets roped into the wedding, and it's just really, really funny. I was so hooked through the entire book. It's really good. I really enjoyed this one. The next book I read is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I know that's a little bit of a left turn from my usual smut that I read. I gave this one 4 stars. I love the Handmaid's Tale show. I have not started or finished the last season. The book is older. I want to say it was written in like the 70s or 80s. And it kind of feels that way when you read it. Like it feels like it was written in the 70s or 80s. It's good, and I realized that the show really stayed true to a lot of elements of the book. There were a few things that I was like, and I almost kind of wished that there was like more detail of like how they got to Gilead in the book. That was like one thing I was like kind of missing and wishing they were going to include more of, but that's okay. Like very gripping and very interesting and kind of spooky and like leaves you a little unsettled. Next book I read is called In Deadly Company by Stratton. Now this one doesn't come out until I think September. I had a PR company reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to read it, and they sent me an advanced copy. I did give this one 3 stars on Goodreads. I think if I was doing decimal points, I'd say like maybe 3.5 stars. I was really intrigued while reading this book, and I read it really fast, but I felt like everything in it, the twist was really predictable, but it did kind of give the vibes of like Knives Out and like White Lotus, if you're like into that. It's like a mystery thriller. It was an interesting premise. I don't know. I think maybe I've read too many thrillers and mysteries that I can maybe see it coming sometimes. This book I read is actually kind of going backwards. Lauren Roberts released a novella in between books 1 and 2 in the Powerless trilogy, and I didn't realize it until I was done with book 3, and so I decided to go back and read it thinking I would like it. I did not. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, which I do think was being kind of generous. A big spoiler alert, if you've never read Powerless and you want to, just like skip this part. I'll add like timestamps for everything on here, but just don't listen to this part. On Goodreads they list this as 1.5, but technically it's kind of going on as book 1 is going on. So even though you know in book 1 that Adina is dead, it's from Adina's perspective, if that makes any sense. You're not going to read this book as a prequel, but the whole time you're reading it, you know that Adina's gonna die, and it's kind of supposed to be a romance. It's just hard to get through because like, you know she's gonna die, and so it's just sad. Sorry, I had to fix the ring light situation since mine was dying. Felt like because I knew that Adina was gonna die, like I was just like, I felt like I couldn't get too invested in the love story. It was just bumming me out. Next book I read was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, and I gave this one 4 stars. I did really enjoy this one. It's kind of like a we both want to be together but like feel like we can't kind of thing. Dual point of view. It's pretty spicy. I liked it, but then I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and gave that one 5 stars. Can't you tell I was in like an Ali Hazelwood kind of mood lately? I ate this one up. Women in STEM, like a smart, competent guy, but he's also protective. I loved it. It was like the perfect amount of spice. Perfect. Next, I read Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Not sure about that last name. I gave this one 5 stars. This one is a mystery thriller. It wasn't too spooky, but there is like paranormal elements to this book. It's about this girl who's coming out of rehab and she becomes a nanny for this family, and they have a young boy, and he starts drawing pictures that are kind of like ominous, and he has this imaginary friend he keeps talking about. And she kind of like starts uncovering things of like thinking that maybe a murder happened like in the guest house she's staying in. The twist I really didn't see coming. It is really good. The next book I read was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I was trying to chase that Love Theoretically high that I had, and I did really like this one. I know this is like her most popular book. I gave this one 4 stars. Love Theoretically was just so good. It was really, really hard to top after reading. The main character, she's a PhD candidate, so like she's smart, badass, STEM woman. You see the pattern with her books. She ends up kissing one of the professors at her lab to like try to trick her friend. And then they kind of like keep the charade going. Plus it's like he's grumpy, she's sugary sweet. It was good, but seriously left theoretically. It was really hard to top that one. The next book I read was The 3 Lives of Cate by Cate Fagan. I hope I'm saying that right. I gave this one 3 stars. I truthfully don't even know how I found this book. I really thought this book was going to give off the vibe of Evelyn Hugo, and it kind of felt like it was trying to be that, but it just kind of felt hard to connect with the characters, and I just didn't really care about them. I really wanted to like this one. It just wasn't my favorite, unfortunately. Next book I read was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I gave this one 5 stars. I thought it was so good. This one was also kind of giving Evelyn Hugo vibes, but mostly just because it was like a reporter and she's writing a biography about this famous woman. But it's a romance because there's also someone else who's writing the biography and they're trying to like compete for who gets to do it. It had a twist that I wasn't quite expecting in the way that it happened. I really liked that. I also liked that it was a romance and like I really liked those elements of it, but it also was just like really strong writing and like a strong plot and like emotional, a little bit less focused on just like the romance of it, but like also this other character, like the famous person that they're interviewing. It was just really interesting. I really liked it. This is like one of my favorite Emily Henry books, I think, now, because it just felt a little bit different than her normal stuff that she writes, and I really, really liked it. The last book I read was Perfect Fit by Clare Gilmore. I gave this one 3 stars. About this girl who builds a fashion brand and she's looking for a consultant, and the guy who ends up kind of falling back into her life is a guy that she kissed when she was in high school. It was cute and I really enjoyed it, but I don't know. I felt like it was just kind of missing something. When you read something that's so good, like Great Big Beautiful Life, and then you read this, it's kind of like, it wasn't bad, but I'm probably rating it a little bit lower than I normally would because it's following something that I just really, really loved. That's everything I've read so far this summer. Obviously, there's still more summer to be had. If you guys have any book recommendations based on like what I did like and you want to share them with me, please always do. Just know that you have an open space in my comments always to recommend books to me, and I will probably always add them to my Goodreads. My TBR is longer than my read section on Goodreads. I don't know if that's a normal problem to have, but it has consistently been a problem for me. Also, if you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know if you disagree or agree with any of my takes. But it was so much fun chatting with you guys. Bye!